With us on the broadcast is John Christopher Bua, who is a White House commentator with us from Washington, D.C. Also with us is Ira Spitzer from San Francisco. Coming to you first to talk about the key takeaways from the Quad Summit, John Christopher Bua. What's your assessment of the potential of the Quad alliance when it comes to countering China, when it comes to a free and open Indo-Pacific, the shared vision? There are a lot of shared values, a lot of common points and mutual interests, but what, according to you, are the deliverables? What does standing for the common good even mean?
Well, I think if there's any measure of the success of today's Quad visit was first of all, the hour-long meeting that President Biden had with Prime Minister Modi, and it was quite impressive, the amount of time he spent with him, and the enthusiasm and the energy from it, just literally from the press corps, all the foreign press. And as I am a White House correspondent for Real Political News, it was a pleasure being with so many wonderful colleagues who expressed such delight that these four leaders were together to work on some common principles and to work on some real global issues that are affecting not only that part of the world, but all of the world, especially when it comes to global warming and it comes to security, maritime security, COVID, of course, and of course the challenge of all is China and the role that they want to play and how this can be a good counterbalance for any aggressive movements that the Chinese may be even considering. So it was very exciting, an uplifting day, and it was an absolutely glorious early autumn sunny day, and I was really, really pleased to be a part of it. And thanks for inviting me on for my thoughts.
Right, Ira, if I can get you in onto the conversation to take us through the key takeaways from the Quad discussions and how the four partner countries would hope to take this alliance forward. The major highlight, of course, has been the solidification of ties when it comes to the shared values and a free and open Indo-Pacific.
Right. Well, we're still waiting for some of the specific details from the White House on the initiatives to come out of today's Quad meeting, but certainly a very interesting and important backdrop here, and people are starting to call this what we've seen over the past few weeks with the AUKUS security agreement between Australia, the UK, and the US, and now sort of the strengthening of the Quad as the Biden doctrine. We're certainly seeing the United States pivot towards the Asia-Pacific region, the Indo-Pacific region, and these countries aren't naming China by name, but of course the Quad is seen as an attempt to counterbalance the weight of China in the Indo-Pacific region. The AUKUS security agreement, the same thing. So very important geopolitical shift that we're seeing now in the as Joe Biden's presidency really sort of takes off or continues here, and we're starting to see what the U.S. foreign policy looks like under the Biden administration.
What about the Afghanistan issue, John Christopher Bua? To what extent was that discussed? Because it is a huge priority for India, given the security implications. The Afghanistan mess, thanks to the botched up American withdrawal, has India a whole lot concerned about the days and months ahead.
I mean, there was even a press conference afterward where our press secretary addressed the over-the-horizon issue and India. And the White House did put out a statement, a detailed statement, a joint statement about what went on and what the future looked like. And I think the over-the-horizon is very important. Don't forget, many of the Taliban leaders were held up in Pakistan as prisoners. I don't want to get too political here, but the fact is that we need a real friend in this part of the region who can counter the extreme aggression by Taliban and ISIS-K, and the U.S. is concerned. And I think the alliance with the Prime Minister of India is an important and a strong one, when we take the big global perspective into view. I'm sure my counterpart in San Francisco would probably agree with me on that. Am I right?
Ira, I think that's for you.
Right, absolutely. This is...
Sorry, Molly. It's not my show.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think the strengthening of the Indian-U.S. relationship was on display earlier today, both with the bilateral meeting between Prime Minister Modi and President Biden, and then, of course, followed by this Quad meeting, which really is sort of significant in signifying a shift in the region and a closer partnership between India and the United States.
John Christopher, you did not exactly answer my question there when I asked you about whether or not America, the botched-up withdrawal does have security implications for India. Having said that, it reminds me of what the American Senator Mark Rubio had to say while grilling the Secretary of State Antony Blinken earlier, where he said that if America allowed a third-rate power, his words, not mine, a third-rate power like Pakistan to unravel America's ambitions, then how does the U.S. Plan to counter powers like China and Russia?
Well, I'm certainly not giving any credence to Marco Rubio. I think he's not doing a very good job. He's kept people very unsafe in Florida, along with the governor.
No, let's not make it personal to that extent. I'm talking about America's handling of the Afghanistan withdrawal and the far-reaching implications security-wise for the entire region.
Well, that's why India is important, because if we did a premature withdrawal, which I believe we did, and I think Joe Biden wanted to get out of there. He didn't want this war to go on to the fifth president of the United States. So I will agree with you there. I think in retrospect, it was too hasty. But in the meantime, you've got individuals who are in prison in Pakistan running the place. So it's important for Joe Biden to really nurture an important relationship with India, because over the horizon is a tactic, is a way of defending the free people of Afghanistan when the Taliban, in fact, really starts to do real damage. And I expect that to happen at any moment.
Right. Ira, let's also talk about the COVID-19 initiative on part of India, which has been lauded by Kamala Harris yesterday. COVID-19 partnerships being a very important aspect of the Quad alliance as well. Be it the Pfizer jabs that have been talked about today, be it India manufacturing 1 billion vaccines as a part of the Quad partnership by the end of this year. This is coming together of these democracies with a shared vision of bringing the COVID-19 crisis to an end.
Right, very important. We learned about this back in March at the virtual Quad meeting, and we still don't know the exactly when sort of this the timetable for this production to really get off the ground, but they do say that this is sort of the centerpiece of the global COVID vaccination initiative is to use Indian manufacturing to produce 1 billion doses and distribute those throughout the Indo-Pacific region, throughout Asia. So very important and consequential news there with regard to the need to quickly vaccinate tremendous numbers of people, especially in places where there are still low vaccination rates because of the inability to get a hold of vaccines.
Right. Before I wrap this up, a quick point across to John Christopher Bua. Why is a free and open Indo-Pacific significant for the United States?
Because the world depends on the United States for having good, healthy relationships with countries who are democracies. And the United States and India not only are wonderful democracies, but India is the largest democracy, and the U.S. and India are the oldest democracies on the planet. And we speak the same language, relatively speaking, and we respect each other, and we respect each other's principles and goals. And remember, if there is one person with COVID, it is not eliminated. You know how long it took to get rid of smallpox and measles. And there are millions and millions of people still infected with COVID-19. And together, with the support of India and the Quad, Australia certainly, and Japan, not only is it an effort to thwart any aggression from China, but it's an effort to thwart the biggest aggression of all, and that is COVID-19.
Absolutely. We're leaving it there for the moment. John Christopher Bua, appreciate very much joining us on the broadcast. Ira Spitzer getting us those details. Thanks very much. WION now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.